Steve Assad from Ancient Gamers here with another quick tutorial on how to use the modular character customization system to prepare models for Atavism. Today we're going to go ahead and work with the characters from Ida Faber, and we're going to work with the Techwear, the Customizable Survivor Pack, and the K-pop series. And what we're going to do is we're going to prepare them for Atavism. So when you buy a model, sometimes they don't always have the meshes set up in the best way for Atavism to be able to utilize them. So if you take a look at all of these are the characters that come in, and these are the original meshes. So if we pull the original mesh in, you can see the prefab and the mesh look very much alike, but all of the items are actually attached to the mesh. So all of these items are available inside of the mesh and only the mesh, and you can't get them out. They don't exist anywhere outside of this and that project. And so how would you utilize them from this character to this character if you wanted, for example? Well, you can't. Currently, there is no way for you to do that without having some kind of system that would do this for you. So let's go ahead and start that process. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come in and create a new empty object in the scene. We're going to come over here and add a component, and we're going to type in prepare, and you'll select prepare models for Atavism. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go over to your prefabs folder, and you're going to make sure that the prefab that you want to break apart is the only prefab that is in this folder. If you have a bunch of prefabs, move them out. Like these are all prefabs that contain all of the various parts individually, and those are the meshes here. But you'll notice that one of them has a combination of all of the items that are in there, and it's all parts together. And that's the one we want to break apart because we don't really want to work on all of these individual parts. We want to work on this one because it has everything in there. So what I did is I moved out all of the prefabs that were not associated with the one that I want to break apart and placed that outside of there. And so this is the only one that is in there. So now on a game object, you've got a couple of things: folder to process, folder to save models to, folder to save meshes to, folder to save skin mesh renderers to, and the game object skin mesh render that we're going to work with, which is pretty much never used. So you don't have to fill out any of these folders. Just drag this prefabs folder to the folder to process and click the prepare to models folder. And down here, you'll see skin meshes, skinned mesh prefabs, and skinned models. Those are the items that are going to be generated, and it will auto-generate those folders for us underneath the root of the prefabs. In the future subsequent runs, it will ignore any folders that are here. So any of these folders that are selected will automatically be ignored, and any prefabs that are under there do not matter. So it is only this one. You can run this again as many times as you want, and it will just overwrite the files that are in this folder. So if you make changes to them, make sure that you back them up before running this a second time. Or if you make a mistake and you want to restore, just rerun it again and it will correct them. Now, once we go in there, you're going to find three different types of objects. These are the skinned objects, the actual meshes that are inside of the object, and it's saved all of the meshes out without any materials. So these can be reused at any point in time and reloaded on just as a static mesh. So inside of here, you will also see the models. So these are the models that are attached to the character, but have the materials and shaders on them properly, and these would be all of the shaders and material properties that are inside of the model themselves. So on the mesh or the raw mesh or inside the prefab that you are breaking apart. And you can see that we have each one of the parts. There is the full body. And we'll be using this later on to rebuild the character so that we can have a proper representation of the character. So you can see here we've got the skin or the the upper teeth and the lower teeth and each clothing item that is on that. And then the skinned models, these are the actual ones that have the skinned mesh renderers, and these have the positions and the routes based upon the actual item from the original prefab that is there. So these are all based on the original prefab and have links to the original meshes and materials and things that are inside of the mesh and inside of the prefab. So we'll utilize this in the next video to go ahead and start reskinning these items on side of this character. So these you can see if we bring in any of this body and then we double click it, it'll take us over to the location where this body was then pulled out. And then if we utilize this in our next video to reskin it, you'll see that it's there. But you can see that here we can look down inside the body and it's just a hollow shell, and then each one of these is associated with that. And then if we pull in the next object and delete that one, you'll see that it appears in this location. So, and these are all the objects where it would be hidden, and these are the best objects that you can to start swapping items in and out. So, we'll go to the next one, and pretty much you just want to repeat this process. So you'll notice that this next folder here, Survival Man, has a prefabs folder, but it doesn't have any of those other. When I drag it in here, it'll clear those out because these folders here, which were generated, are not a child of this object. So it's a quick and easy way for you not to have to clean out the folder and just very quickly process your objects if you have a large number of them. And you can see here that we just pretty much processed that project, and then we're going to go to the next one, and we're going to be done with this in a few seconds, just like we were the other ones, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next video where we'll actually bring them all into a single character, and I'll show you how you can skin them and have them as equipment items. So you can see here that we've got our prefabs here, our skin meshes, our prepared objects that are the models, and then our skinned models as well for that we can then retarget to a different thing. So this is all for this video, and hopefully you learned something with this on how to split your models apart, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.